All right. What's up, everybody? This is Prime Sports Media, everybody. All right. What's going on, everybody? Been a while since I've been live, but let's get into it. I've decided I was going to do this video today. I didn't have time to do it on Saturday night after the game. I did watch that game. I was out of town at that time. And there's a lot of I'm not going to make this podcast a super long podcast. I'll get to the point about a few things, but there needs to be some changes at CU, serious changes, I believe, within the coaching ranks. I think the coaches have to put the players in the best positions to win. I have a lot of concerns. I'm going to say it right now as it relates to Coach Pat. And even I am concerned now about Coach Robert Livingston. A lot of the commentators were saying that they noticed that the safeties for CU were playing in a position that made them vulnerable to a certain degree against the run. And you saw Coach Prime, who was very angry, let his frustrations be known as it related to Coach Robert Livingston. I just got to be honest about that. Robert Livingston, you could see it on the sideline that there was some discontent that Coach Prime had for the plays that were being called. He did not appreciate some of the things that he was noticing at the time. It was a very frustrating game. They never were able to get on a good footing in this game. It seemed that Utah had their number from start to finish, and they just could never get any momentum going. They couldn't get anything going on offense, on defense, on all three phases of the game. I mean, special teams, defense, offense, even the punting, everything was not going right for CU in this game. And I feel that there's some major changes that need to be made to the team. Now, when you look at player roster situations, yeah, I'm gonna be honest. Coach Prime is at CU. He's in Colorado. Colorado is still, even though Coach Prime is there and he has brought excitement to the program, Colorado still does not have the allure. I'm talking about the school, the football history. It still does not have the allure of an Alabama, an LSU, these types of programs in the SEC, even the Florida State job, which Coach Prime originally was hoping to get before taking the CU job. I think those particular programs from a recruiting point of view will allow you to recruit even better talent than Coach Prime has even been able to get to CU. Mind you, he's done a hell of a job bringing a few top freshmen in out of high school. Of course, you've had guys that were coming in through the transfer portal, and we got to be honest here. Some of these guys that came in through the transfer portal, some of them were guys that were on other major football teams, college teams, where they weren't either getting any playing time. They saw the field very little to none. Maybe they got injured. So Coach Prime is realistically has brought guys over to the program through transfer portal, guys who either didn't get much playing time where they were, guys that fell out of favor somewhere where they were, or guys that weren't happy with their circumstance where they were, and they jumped into the transfer portal and came over to CU. Knowing that CU needed help, particularly in the offensive line, they needed certain skill positions still. Losing players like Shador is a hard thing to do. Okay, Shador is not coming through that door anymore. He's a great player. He's in the NFL. I think he's getting a raw deal. I'm gonna be doing another video about Shador and this whole Browns disaster that he's in. I wish they would trade him. I wish somehow they would let him go so that he could sign with someone else, because this is a disaster how they've been treating Shador. They made him inactive. Now they're shopping around for another quarterback or brought another quarterback in. Horrible things are happening. Now, I've been saying this for a while that Salter does not have great accuracy. And even this Sunday against Utah, he was not able to employ what I would call his ability to run the ball in the fashion that we've been used to. Remember, in a lot of games this year, we have seen Salter run the ball very well, very effectively. And to that point that he has run the ball effectively, in this game against Utah, he never got a starting chance to run the ball to make anything critical happen. And that's serious. That's serious, everybody, that he was not able to garner an opportunity to run the ball, because if you notice, every game that CU wins, it's either because Salter has had a good game where he's getting the ball in the hands of the receivers, he's running all over the field, he's causing all types of problems for the defense, the opponent. This time around, we didn't see any of this. None of this happened, and that's a serious situation. This, in my estimate, should have never happened. I don't know what is it going to take, what we're going to do as a program to improve on the situation. I'm going to let you hear from Coach Prime. I mean, Coach Prime was very humble. You could tell he was upset. But something is just not meshing right with the team. And I'm going to say again, I do believe coaching is part of the problem, particularly starting with Pat Shurmur. I think his play calling lacks imagination. If you agree with me, put 7s in the chat room. Alicia, thank you for coming over. Rock, thank you for coming over. It lacks imagination. And you're seeing the frustration from Coach Prime right before our very eyes. This whole game was very stressful to look at, to watch, to take it all in, as they were being beat 53-7, which has got to be the worst defeat that they've had this year so far. We talked about how they don't get blown out usually, but they got blown out in this game. And according to stats, this is the first time since 2012 that CU, Colorado, has been beaten in this way, going all the way back to 2012. Some of these young men weren't even born, or maybe were just little kids. The odds were against us, according to ESPN, that had Utah beating us at an 83.3%. They gave CU a 16.7%. So nobody gave CU in the media, of course, a chance. Stobbs had to come in and relieve. Boy, this is hard, folks. This is hard. This is a hard one to do. Stobbs had to come in. Ryan Stobbs came in to replace Salter, who was continuing to have issues. He threw one interception in this game, gave up the ball once. And it's beginning to make you wonder who should have been starting the season. Should it have been Juju, who you see to the left, the freshman? Should CU have gone with Juju to give him some experience? Should they have gone with him over Salter? You give me your opinions in the chat room or in the comment section of this video. This video won't be long. But once again, This was a game in which Salter was removed from the game in favor of Stobbs. And as I said, there was open competition. If I'm not mistaken, there was open competition in the beginning between Juju and Salter. The coaching staff felt that the man who had more experience at the college level at this point in time would be Salter. Now, Salters came out of Liberty, and we saw it from the very beginning of the season that Salter had some adjustment issues. I think the level of play, the speed of the game, the talent level, I think he had some problems adjusting to it because it's a far cry from playing at Liberty in terms of the talent level that he's going up against. At times, I still feel that Salter is not sure of himself. Yes, he has had games where he has run the ball all over the field and made plays, and we had a big win when it came to Iowa State. That was a ranked team. They were 22nd in the country, and we came away with some good things there. But Coach Prime has got to make some decisions. He's got a lot of decisions to make. I'm very concerned about where the team is going. Another thing that I think concerns a lot of people is the fact that Joseph Williams, Joseph Williams, and let me just say this, Amarion Miller, who I'm going to put right there, Amarion Miller and Joseph Williams did not play in this game, or did not play in the beginning of the game. They were set down. They were benched as a penalty because Coach Prime wants accountability from his players, the attitude, the approach that they take. So as a result, Williams was set down. People are saying that might have hurt them. And Amarion Miller was made to set down because of showing up to a meeting, a players meeting or a coaches meeting with the players late. As a result, both these guys did not play much of the game. I think Amarion Miller didn't even come into the game until the fourth quarter. Some are saying that could have hurt them, not having their ability on the field, because these guys make up a lot of offense for this team. Let me break it down to you how much offense these young men are generating for this team. It's Amarion Miller right there. So these two guys as a pair combined so far for this season, they have combined for 44 receptions, for a total of 741 yards and 7 touchdowns between the two of them. So I do think that did hurt someone like Salter, because those are his go-to guys, particularly Amarion Miller and Joseph. Both of these guys had great games against Iowa State. How do we go from having great games against Iowa State and Salter having a great game to now with a bye, which you have 2 weeks to prepare for a team and study a team? You would think that they would have been well prepared to go into that game. Even Coach Prime said that he think that the coaches himself did not prepare them properly going into this game and the way they played. He said they had a great practice. He says they have great practices, that they work hard in practice, that you see it. but it's not translating to the field. And that frustration you saw spill over. You saw that frustration spill over ultimately in this game against Utah, in which they've lost 53-7. And that frustration spilled over into this man right here, Robert Livingston. You saw coach and him kind of going back, and coach had some words for him. And then we cannot allow Pat Shurmur to get away as well. I have my reservations about him. His NFL career as a coordinator wasn't that stellar. He had 1 year as a coordinator or so with the Minnesota Vikings. They had a pretty good team. They had some success, but he was also a head coach with both the Giants and Minnesota. Both situations didn't work out. And since he's been at CU, I have not seen, at least this year, any spark to the offense. Even no imagination to how he's play calling, how he's utilizing players, how he's putting people in positions, how they're using certain formations and they're spread out formation. I just don't see it. Even when Shador was at CU, there were times when the play calling lacked imagination, and it has not changed. Now here we are with Ryan Stubbs back in the saddle again, getting the start, or not getting the start, but getting put in the game, and Salter being benched. It was, to me, a sad situation. I hope that a decision is made about whether they're going to stick with Salter, give him a chance, give him another chance to redeem himself from this game, or are they going to go with Ryan Stubbs? Now, you know, the media will call this a quarterback controversy. They'll try to stir up the pot with that. I'm saying to you that they got big decisions to make. And let me let you hear what Coach Prime had to say about this. Man, here we go.
You ain't winning. You're not winning. Yeah, 300 yards, you're not winning. 250, you're not winning. It's not capable. Total offense, 140 yards, you're not winning. You're not winning. They had 587 yards of total offense. You're not winning. With that, special teams gave up a fake punt as well as a block punt. You're not winning. So all three phases, we got our butts kicked. Let's go.
Yeah, go ahead and start. Hey, Coach. Leo Burrows, Phillips Sports. Looking first at that defensive unit. What was the conversation with Coach Livingston like?
Wasn't pleasant.
You hear that?
What made it so difficult for you guys to stop?
Did you hear what Coach Prime said, that his conversation with Coach Livingston was not pleasant? There were serious defensive formation, design, play calls by Coach Livingston that were not acceptable. And I think he should also have some words or some feelings about, I think, I'm going to be honest. There has to be a coaching change. I think that we all got excited because he was bringing over a lot of NFL coaches who have experience in the coaching level of the pros. But I'm afraid to say this, that their coaching experience has not translated to the college game. And I would think that it would be easier for them to let their X's and O's of the NFL to work at the college level. But then you can say, do they have the players to execute? Certainly, Coach Prime using Marion Miller and Joseph Williams as examples of what you don't do when the coach says, show up to meetings. I think that Coach Prime, had he let them get away with that, it would send a bad message to the rest of the team. It's a catch-22 because you're damn if you do, you're damn if you don't play them, and you're damn if you do play them in a way it looks to the eyes of the other players, the coaches, and what have you, because it makes it look like you're giving them special treatment. But in not having those guys out there, particularly Amarion Miller, not until the fourth quarter, by the fourth quarter, the game was over. It may have hurt them in certain aspects of this game because you've got your two best guys, two of your best pieces of your wide receiver core out. And of course, with Sincere Brown and other guys that were there, Salter couldn't get anything going. And as he said, you can't win when you give up 587 total yards and CU only got 140 yards total offense. Can't do that. Utah got 33 minutes and 38 seconds of time of possession to CU's 26 minutes and 22 seconds of time of possession. Not good. Utah controlled time of possession, they controlled tempo, and they controlled the game with what I've been saying for a long time. They ran the effing ball. They ran it with their freshman quarterback who looked like a world beater out there. They ran the ball with their running backs, and that has been the biggest Achilles heel of this program since even day one when they had Shedeur and Travis. They have struggled to stop the run. Even when they had Shedeur and Travis and Jimmy Horn, all these guys, they struggled with the run even then and continue to struggle. I don't know how it can be fixed, what the problems are. Is it the talent level? Is it the coaches not putting the young men that they have there, because they do have some talent, putting them in the right situations to execute with their talent? I just don't know.
Right from the get-go.
Just, we didn't do our jobs. We didn't prepare our kids profoundly.
It's gotta go. And coach, with the extra week to kind of scout and get.
And you go out there and play like that.
Why do you think you guys look kind of so unprepared on both sides of the ball?
Thank you for agreeing. Coaches changes
The way we
have to
practice,
come.
The way we prepared, there's no way that should happen. There's no way the physicalness that we exuded all week long, it's no way.
Once again, Coach Prime is not lying. You can look at Well Off Media's YouTube channel. They show you exactly them practicing, them doing the things they have to do. They are working hard. I don't think these young men are just going to practice and slacking. I think that something's happening between what they're doing in practice and what they're not doing on the field. Another thing I have to say that I don't think the bye week helped them. I think I would have rather them not have a bye week after they beat Iowa State, because they would have had that momentum going into this game and they would have had their legs under them. I think having that 2 weeks off might have not been the right thing. It's the best thing for guys that are injured coming back, but the guys that are still able to play, I don't think that 2 week layoff helped them at all.
The consistency. The only thing we were consistent in is, I guess, penalties. We didn't have penalties, right? What were we, 2 penalties, something like that? Yeah, that was great. 2 for 15 yards, I'm proud of that. It's about the only thing. It's the only thing I'm proud of.
Offensive line, which has seemed to gain traction over the week, seemed to have a setback today. Couldn't identify.
Yeah, they blitzed us to death. They're still
Yeah.
blitzing us right now. And we inside. They still blitzing us.
Hear what it's
right
saying?
now.
Let me stop it right there. Coach Prime said they still blitzing us right now. The offensive line, man, I hate to say this, anchored by Jordan Seaton. A lot of people I was talking about Jordan Seaton might go pro after this year. I wouldn't be surprised if I got a feeling, obviously there are going to be some young men that are going to leave this program. I think there are going to be some that are going to leave and transfer for a variety of reasons. Maybe not getting enough playing time. Maybe they don't want to lose games. There's going to be guys like Jordan Seaton who have an opportunity to go pro. And will it be in his best interest to go pro after this season? or come back for his junior year to see if he can, once again, he said he wants to create a legacy. He wants to get CU back on track. Is it in his best interest to go to the pros after this year or come back for another year? Because I know he's got to be frustrated by the way the season has turned out, how things are happening. These young men, by no means are they not trying hard. They're not hustling. They're not working out in practice. I just think that there's other elements. I don't know what it is exactly that is not boding well for this team. They've got talent, Draylen Miller. I mean, when I look at the stats, they weren't able to get anybody involved. And the question is, does it start with the quarterback, Salter? Where does it start, everybody? I mean, when you look at these stats, Salter, 9 of 22, 37 yards, 1 interception. That's not good. Terrible stats right there, right? Michael Welsh, only 6 carries for 4 yards. They were never able to get a running game going because they were playing by double figures. Draylen Miller, 1 carry for 0 yards. They didn't get him going like they should have. Hayden, -2 yards, 3 carries. This is really bad stats, everybody. I can't sit up here and sugarcoat this. This is bad stats. Amarion Miller, 3 receptions for 59 yards. 23 yards is his longest run. Sincere Brown had 3 for 27. Gibson, our great return guy, he had 18 yards with 4 receptions. They never were able to get their offense going off the ground. They couldn't get that offense going. And you can't get it going. You give up that much, 587 yards to Utah, you're going to lose every time. And we know that they can beat. I think Iowa State is a better team, and they beat Iowa State, which was a ranked team. They beat them, and they're a much better team. Iowa State, to me, was a much better. CU beat a much better team last week, in my opinion.
Guess what? I just told them, be ready for the next week. Got out the bag. Be ready for it.
Because it's easy to look at a game like that and look at the quarterback, but when he doesn't have that kind of time, how difficult is that for Caden to get anything going?
It's difficult.
Coach, you just said how much respect you have for
Yeah.
him, and this is obviously a tough question to answer, but when you look at his program and the sustainability that they've built, that's where you're trying to get there.
Yeah.
What do you think is separating you from maybe a little bit more?
That's a great question. Stability in certain areas. But the thing about it, those areas show up and they show glimpses of success.
Right. They do have moments where they can be successful. We witnessed this against Iowa State, which was a 22nd ranked team in the nation. I believe Iowa State is a much better team than Utah, in my opinion. Utah has a pretty interesting running game. They really run the ball at you, and they throw that ball at you in terms of on the ground. They really get at you on the ground. But I thought that, hell, if they could beat a team like Iowa State, then there's no way that they should have lost the way they did to Utah.
Sometimes you just are dumbfounded, man. You just look at this thing and like, wow, like what happened? There's no way. There's no way that should happen.
Go ahead, Brian. Coach, you mentioned to Mark Johnson this week that we would see discipline things that happen, guys being late.
Yeah.
Looks like Amarion and Joseph Williams. I
Yeah.
over 2 of them.
Yeah.
How does that set the tone for a week when guys are late? Guys are supposed to be
That our guys don't care about that. The rest of the guys, they business as usual because that's life. You know, they've been through high school, you know, youth ball. Guys have done stupid things in life, so that does not. They're like.
I think it did hurt them not having those guys out there to be able to play from start to finish, and then to bring Amarion Miller into the game in the fourth quarter when he's not in the, it's hard when you put a guy in a game that late and he's not in the flow of the game because he hasn't played in the game to get into the flow and to get warm and to get himself, warmed up to play. It's difficult. I think Coach Prime, I guess he wanted to teach them a lesson by holding them back out of this game for a number of quarters. You know, maybe, I don't know, maybe first, some cases coaches will say, okay, you can't play the first half. You can't play the first half, or you can't play in the first quarter. We put you in the second quarter. I just wondered if these guys had never, showed up to a meeting late, could both of them being in the game made a difference for someone like Salters to make some plays, to gain momentum and to be competitive? I don't know. I don't know if they could have been competitive because the defense did not play up to par. The defensive coordinator and Robert Livingston didn't call a good game from a defensive point of view as a coach. And we got to be honest, we need to also throw some shade at Pat, the offensive coordinator, who, I'm going to say again, his offense lacks imagination.
For them, it's next man up. Now it's another guy has an opportunity to get in there and do his thing. So that's what it was. They're not flustered or bothered by that.
I guess what kind of call
Yes, sir.
For you as a coach, how frustrating is that when two of your leaders are doing
Yeah,
that?
don't use that word lightly. You're using that word. Yeah, don't.
Leading receivers, I guess.
But don't throw that leadership word around. We don't do that. We don't put that on everybody. You know that.
How do you react to this in the coming days? I guess you don't want to overreact, but you also have to address it.
It'll be addressed. It's been addressed, and it'll be addressed even more till I get it all of me.
Coach, talking about that leadership aspect, what do you need to see from your guys in order for that to improve? Like, who needs to
Well,
step
that
up?
starts with me. It starts with the coaching staff, and let's forget the guys for a minute. Let's start at the top.
What do you need to do then yourself?
I'm trying to figure that one out.
So it's pretty obvious that Coach Prime is going to look at this from a point of view that you've got to hold coaches responsible for some of the poor play on the field from an execution of X's and O's, making sure that these young men are in the right spot to be successful defensively, offensively, special teams wide. They sucked on, I got to be honest, they sucked in this game on all three phases. I mean, special teams, defense, offense, everything was not well. Now, that doesn't mean for those of us that follow CU that we should stop believing in the process, that we should stop supporting this team. We should stop believing in Coach Prime, because college football is a up and down game. You have teams that are not playing good at times, then they play good. They have bad years, they have good years. You have things that change as you get more players in through recruiting and transfer portal, where you now can plug in those holes where you need to plug them in. So that's why I would say we're not going to throw the baby out with the bathwater because they had this one bad game. There's still more games to play, and they still can have some success going down the line. But if they've got to clean up what's ailing this football team. And it looks like Coach Prime is saying, let's not focus on the kids, the young men right now. Let's focus on the coaches. The coaches are the ones that need to be held accountable. And I like that aspect of this.
I really am.
Coach, obviously, this is really tough. It's going to be tough until you get over it. Like
Yeah,
you said.
yeah.
But you still do have, bowl eligibility in front of you this season. Like, there's
We
a
ain't
lot
thinking
of-
about no bowl right now. We thinking about this moment. Let's grade this moment. Let's figure out why this happened, and let's make sure the precaution that it don't happen again. But let's identify why. Let's identify the why first. That's what I want to know. Why? Okay. What about this play? Why? Who was that? What about that play? Why? Why can't we get the ball off? Why? Why? I need to know all these whys before we could move on and even think about something down the street. I'm not a down the street thinker. I'm a now guy.
As you can see, Coach Prime's making some good points. We want to know why we can't run the ball this way. Why? Why are we not able to block over here? Why? Why is it that the offense is stagnated? What's going on with the play calling? Why are we not using and utilizing this young man this way? Why is it that we can beat a 22 ranked team in Iowa State, but we couldn't go against Utah and beat them? Be it we were at home at that time, but why couldn't we beat a team that you can make an argument is no better than the team that we beat a week ago in Utah? These are the questions that I know is running through the head of Coach Prime. This whole situation, I get it.
Yeah.
Safe to say, not flushing this at all.
No, not right now.
Right.
No. Can't you see my tone? I love you guys. You guys are wonderful, and I'm trying to be as pleasant as I can, but it is what it is. You know I don't sugarcoat that. It is what it is. You know, and we're going to start with me.
Anything else for Coach?
Yes. Yes, sir.
Coach, what did you tell the team kind of at halftime after the game?
I don't remember, but I'm pretty sure it wasn't pleasant.
Mm-hmm. We know it wasn't pleasant.
Pleasant at all.
Tell the truth.
Probably challenging them. I'm sorry, I don't recall, but I'm most likely I challenged them and identified them as a group to stand up and step up, and you know, all this hoopah, all this yah-yah, and all this want to look good and all this stuff, it don't work unless you balling. Yeah, we in that kind of generation right now. You better want to look good, and they want to, you know, they want to get paid, but you got to ball, you got to play. That constitutes that, and we got to figure this out like now. Now. Thank you, God. Be safe. Everybody be safe.
So as you can see, Coach Prime is saying we got to figure this out right now. And that's why I said I put on the thumbnail that the decisions, he's got decisions to make, that there needs to be a change now. And I'm not here to punch down on the players. I think that the change needs to be made in the coaching staff. And it's showing me that Coach Prime might have guys on this team that played in the NFL, or they coached in the NFL. But the question I have to ask, were they the right NFL coaches or the right personnel to bring in? See, were they the right personnel? And in this case, I feel that Pat, the offensive coordinator, I don't feel that Pat Shermer is the right guy. And now, because of what we witnessed this past Saturday with the unpleasant conversation or exchange between Coach Prime and Robert Livingston, I don't know if Robert Livingston might be long for this team as well, because you can see that Coach Prime is frustrated. He's got a lot to think about. He's got some decisions to make, and I suspect there will be some changes, if not in the middle of this season. It's hard to bring someone in right away. I think after the season, you're going to see a change in coaching personnel, and it might be for the better of the program if he does that. What do you all think? Make sure that you put in the chat, in the comment section of this video, where you stand in this situation with CU. They've got some other games coming up. The question is, can they salvage whatever they can out of this season and go forward and beat some of these other opponents? So you see they've got Arizona November 1st, West Virginia November 8th, Arizona State, which will be, I think, a tough game, November 22nd, November 29th, Kansas State. Literally, they would have to beat out to go to a bowl game if they're able to. We got to be honest. They would have to win every single game that they play here on out. That means they got to beat Arizona. They got to beat West Virginia, Arizona State, Kansas State. They can't lose any more games. They need to win those games at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If they can win 5 games, they can still go to some type of a bowl game. It won't be a major bowl game, but the problem is, can they do it and, sort of survive the rocky ship right now? What do you all think? Is this something that they could do? Or is the season sort of like, prepare for next college season? What do you all think? Because we know that Shador is not coming through those doors anymore. We know Travis not coming through those doors. Jimmy Horn's not coming through those doors again. these guys in the NFL. So is it that Coach Prime needs another recruitment class to finalize what this team can do? Now, let's be honest. We know that this team, particularly the freshmen, the second-year players, they do have talent. But the question you must ask yourself, is it the talent the issue, or is it the coaching staff or the coaches, particularly the offensive coordinator, the defensive coordinator, that are not putting these guys in the right position, or is it both things? I say that they definitely will need to add some more talent to the team, which is what every team does annually anyway. They'll definitely do that during the offseason. But right now, Coach Prime seems to me that he is lock, stock, and barrel on a coaching change. He didn't say that he's going to make a coaching change, but you know damn well that's coming down the pipeline, if not in the middle of it. Now, it may not happen in the middle of this season. It could happen, and they could promote somebody. They can promote a coach that's already on this staff to take over the defensive coordinating job and the offensive coordinating job. Or Coach Prime can just say, look, we're going to look for two top-notch candidates, particularly that offensive coordinating position. We're going to look for that during the offseason. We're going to bite the bullet right now with what's going on. What do you think? Make sure you make comments in the comment section of this video. I want to thank you for watching this video today.
Tell the truth.
Make sure you subscribe, hit the bell notification, because we surely appreciate that. If you want more videos like this, definitely hit that bell notification. I didn't have a lot to. I'm just as frustrated as all of you out there that follow CU, that root for CU, that wants the best for CU. I'm just as frustrated. It's difficult for me to do these kind of videos because we know we've got plenty of trolls and haters out there that that are enjoying seeing them lose games so that they can come around and leave sneaky and nasty comments. But I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not giving up on CU. I'm not giving up on Coach Prime and what he's trying to do there. This is just one game that was a game that was trash, that they didn't play great. They played, and Coach Prime told you that he had choice words for the players during that halftime. I want to put something up on the board real quick before I end this. Give me 1 minute. Let me see if I can find this real quick. I want to see if I can find this real quick. Give me 1 minute, everybody. I hope you all are doing well out there. Here we go. And here we go. So I want to put this on the board. Check this out. There we go, everybody. Now check that out. But this was just in the first half of the game, and I was very concerned about this, to say the least. Colorado Buffaloes, Utah Utes, first half. At first half, they had 0 points. Utah was already up 43 points. They had 398 yards, Utah, at the end of the in the first half. CU was at a minus 41. Damn. 23 yards passing to the 130 yards passing for Utah. 16 first downs, 3 first downs only. And in the first half, Utah already controlled the clock with 18 minutes and 36 seconds of time of possession. You can't win games like this. This is what happened in the first half of the game. Going into the second half, this right here is a picture of the problems that they were enduring that night. And I take no pleasure in it, but it's just We have to deal with reality. We got to deal with the facts. But I still believe in the program. I still believe in Coach Prime. I still believe there's talented players on this team. We have to see how this thing is going to all play out. I do believe there's going to be some coaching movement and changes. I think we got to look at, I can't believe I got to say this, we got to look at both not only the defensive coordinating position, but also the offensive coordinating position of this team. I don't know if Coach Prime's going to pull a trigger with this right now, or he's going to wait till after the season's over. But a change has to be made. I think someone's going to be demoted and someone's going to be promoted into one of these positions temporarily until he can wait to the offseason. That's my prediction, but you never know. Everybody, thank you for being here. This is Prime Sports Media. Y'all take care. Tell someone you love them. I'll be back with more presentation, and thank you again. Thank you. Y'all take care, everybody. Peace. And make sure you subscribe and share this video. Thank you, everybody.
You are listening to Information Man. Please make sure to subscribe to his channel.
Thank you, everybody.